Dakota bullfighter that was started by the great Steve Mowry as well as Miles Hare. Talked to him a little bit before the deal. His longevity speaks to what a great bullfighter he was, and I don't know if he knows this, but I'm going to quote Miles Hare. And Miles Hare said that he was as good as it gets to work across from. And he knows that because he worked the Deadwood Rodeo with him for 20 years. In 1985, he got his PRCA card, and he was on the alternate list for the Wrangler bullfights for the first 3 years. In 1989, he finally got his shot to go to some bullfights. Won lots of different bullfights up north, but this is the one that jumps out at me. 18 times this guy was selected to be the bullfighter at the Badlands Circuit Finals. Guys, that might be some kind of record to go to the Badlands Circuit Finals 18 times. Y'all make some noise for one of the greats, Mr. Allan Olson.
Well, I guess I've been thinking about this, and I'm kind of a crier. And I guess I'm not the only one that's crying. So but my wife will tell you that I'm one of the bigger pricks she's ever been around. I'll cry when I watch the Young and Restless. That's all you know. So especially I get very emotional about great things like this and being around rodeo people, ranch people, agriculture. And just stuff we love. And I'm very humbled to be here.
Miles said to say, congratulations, Cocky, like he mentioned right there, the 20 years in Deadwood. Miles made sure, he even said to me and Blue both, he said, you make sure you express that a guy couldn't be across from any better partner that he'd ever worked with than you. And he said he was just proud of that fact.
I grew up in northern North Dakota, in a little town, 3,000 people, and we had one rodeo within about 50 miles there, and it was, well, why not? So my parents...
Reason's a reason.
My parents took me to that rodeo every year on Saturday night. I still have a program from 1968, and I was 6 years old. But going to that rodeo made me, I think I want to be a bull rider, you know? And I'll tell you this story now that Ramsey, I told Ramsey this story, and very few people know this story, but so I'm gonna, I get into junior rodeo a little bit, and really my parents weren't rodeo people, didn't really know any rodeo people. So, by the time I got into high school, there was high school rodeos to go to and stuff, so I'm about 18 or so, and I asked Harry, at the rodeo, I've been on some bulls, I'm probably a senior in high school. I said, you got any turnouts? He said, heck yeah, I got some turnouts. You'll be last. So I don't really know what he means by being last, but I guess last to go, but I have no idea that usually that's the fight bull. So there's this kind of wild little 2-3-year-old brown bull in the chute. That's what I'm getting on, and Eric Veers is a bullfighter. And I'm getting my rope on him, and Eric comes down the chute looking at everybody's bull and stuff, and he stops. He said, are you freaking nuts? And that's all he said. He said, you just get your ass up when you leave, when you get bucked off or when you get off, get your ass out of there now. This wasn't mean. And I had no idea until some years later when Scott Walton told me that was crooked nose. He still had 2 horns. The very next week at Billings at the Wrangler bullfight, broke his horn off and then become famous. So I hold the distinction of the only man probably to ever get on crooked nose. I want to thank my wife Sharon. She's seen some pretty rough stuff in my life, in our life together, and she's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And our boy Tracer, he's 20 and he's a team roping son of a gun. And besides this, they're the greatest things that's ever happened in my life, and I thank everybody for this honor.